Hello, thank you for stopping by and having a look at this video, my friends. This is a video about posture and the reason why posture is important. And I give you a bit of an explanation as a personal trainer and a certified correctional exercise specialist, if I can get my words straight, why our bodies are being changed by the lifestyle that we're currently leading, whether or not that's in the car, driving like so, or at the desk, or even our lifting, pushing and pulling in our daily life, whether or not it's with the children, in a manual handling job, or even a job where there's repetitive strain, such as the building industry, or anything that our selves are getting involved with as a work and social life balance, has an element of risk if we don't have the right posture when working with gravity, and also the way that we shift our body. So I explained a little bit about what I'm going to talk about today. For me, I look at clients' biomechanics. But the biomechanics is how body moves forwards and then left or right, and or as we're picking up. So I record that in an introductory session. So this is kind of a little bit of a snippet of what that now looks like in video form, whilst we're self-isolating during this COVID-19 pandemic. I certainly hope you're watching this, the other side of it, and our planet and ourselves have healed, and we've learned lots as humans. Anyway, back to it. For me, I divide the front line of the body for left and right. Design the client's weekly card to show that. I also then divide a line up the sides of the body, so we then have a front and rear, and there's another line around the waistband that has the upper and the lower body. So each client gets a card each week with me, and even in the classes, I do a 5-week class program that helps people understand how this is in exercise, so they become more confident and motivated to go off and do it by themselves. But what I'm giving you here is a quick demonstration, and I just explained about 3 key points that I work with, which is the neutral spine, the shape of the shoulders, and also where our knees and toes need to be pointing when we're working with our lower body exercises. So let's talk about the neutral spine. So I'm going to stand sideways now, so forgive me, my voice or body posture isn't right, but yeah, I'm just going to push through what I teach clients, and then hopefully you can follow along. I'd like you to follow along if you don't mind. Okay, so we're standing nice and tall. One of the most important things that I like to teach clients is the 4 corners of the feet. I find it helpful to visualize the foot as having 4 corners, because when I'm moving and I'm activating certain parts of my body, if I can consciously or hopefully unconsciously program into my mind about planting 4 corners of my toes down, then I'm aware then that I'm stable. So as you can see, if you go on the front corners or the back corners of the foot, then you can have this rock and motion, and there's a different activation of muscles through my body now. But if I plant 4 corners, I'm rock solid. Nothing's moving me. If I'm rowing or if I'm pushing or if I'm just moving around, I am solid in my feet on this ground right now. So why that's important, because if we are off slightly and we're pulling one side more than the other, the risk of injury can happen in that side of the body if we aren't paying particular attention to it. So we start with the 4 corners of the foot, pointing as best as you can do forwards. Everybody's different, and every posture will have some adaptation through life. So as best as you can, feet pointing forwards, soft knees. Lots of people I see in and around the training environment, because of the tension, are holding their bodies like this, their knees are locked. If we unlock the knees, what happens is that our core and the spine and this area of the body has to activate with it. So what we're getting as we're moving is we're activating more muscles which assist us all over the body, and the workout becomes a lot more effective. So you shorten the time. And that's good if you're time sensitive, which most people are these days. Anyway, back to it. So we're coming up that line from the ankle through the knee to the hip, then all the way up into the shoulder, and then to the ear. You can see that I've got a slight pronation to the tilt of my head going forward. So I would then, as I'm trying to talk to you at the moment, I'm finding a little bit of tension. So I would now open up, and there's my line there. Now, how we create that and understand it better every day is practice the neutral spine. Now, the neutral spine is trying to get back to the natural S shape that the spine does have. And if you imagine the spine as a stack of plates, it's off center. But if you can imagine or visualize the stack of plates being our support structure, the spine all the way from the cranium, all the way to the coccyx, is what gives us this wonderful movement that we have as human beings. And even in the animal kingdom, it's very similar the way that their biomechanics work too. Okay, so what we're going to talk about now is the neutral spine and how to find it. So I'm just going to demonstrate it. So I'm pushing my pelvis out towards the window. I have my hand planted on my abdomen here and my lower back, so I can feel the tilt of my lower back. So I'm accentuating out towards the window. And how I'm going to change that is I'm going to bring the pelvis under my body by squeezing my butt cheeks, my glutes together. So now I can feel the tension here. So if I push out, I can feel the tension in the lower back on the back of my hand. And if I squeeze together, I can now feel the tension in my abdomen here. And as you can hear, my voice change slightly there. That's because there's a restriction to the diaphragm. Okay, so let's have a practice of that. So we're tilting out and then back in. And then once you get to here, just relax the body by breathing out. And just be in this position. So what should have happened for you there is you should feel the tension go with the breath, and also a relaxation from the ankle, the knee, the hip joint, the shoulder joint, and then even up around this area of the neck should all relaxed. So as we tilt out, we push under, everything becomes aligned. So that's the neutral spine. I invite you, one of the best ways to observe this is first thing in the morning when you've come out of the shower. Have a look in a full-length mirror if you can to see what's happening with your spine. Just have a look sideways, forwards. You can see sometimes one shoulder's higher than the other. One side of your body tilts. When you're moving, have a look in the reflection of windows you're walking past and just see what you're doing. More often than not, because this is a very tense time, we're in this hunched over position. That's not good for the human body, and it's really not good for our breath. The last video that I did was about good breath cycle. The diaphragm here massages the abdomen, protects our vital organs, and it is, without shadow of a doubt, our internal doctor. It's what gives us this a happier and more peaceful life if we use good breath, as does the neutral spine when we're moving around. It protects predominantly lower back pain if we get it right, and also the knees, the ankles, and also shoulder pain. So these are the key areas. So golfers, as an example, would have a higher risk of shoulder injuries. People that lift heavy weights, if they're not thinking about the neutral spine as they're moving, you know, there's an element of needing to protect this area. Which leads me neatly on to one other thing. When someone says about a tight core or squeezing your glutes together, what that does is it stabilizes this area here when we're lifting, maybe in a press up. So the core is a tightness in the core. I describe to clients as having a conscious awareness of the space from the collarbone to the mid-thigh, 360 degrees. And that enables you then to be stronger in this area and allow the joints, say the shoulder joints in the press up, to be more effective. These muscles fire, and also the back muscles fire with the press up. So then all of a sudden you've got the right muscles firing, rather than if you didn't have a tension in this area, you might have a curve back as you're going down, and all of a sudden the risk of injury in this area goes up exponentially. Okay, so that's the neutral spine. The shoulders, one of my favourite warm-ups is that we turn in, which is an internal rotation, and then it's an external rotation. So all I want you to do now, you could do this sitting down, standing up, lying down, whatever. I'm feeling the tension a little bit. So I'm going to turn my shoulders in and turn my shoulders out. Now, what I find is the index fingers down that line of the body, when I turn my shoulders outwards, goes and points downwards, and I can feel that I'm now in a better postural position. So this is really important when I run. It's really important when I'm doing flexibility training, and also my yoga. It's super important to me in that sense. Okay, so just to recap: shoulders in, out, and then relax. And by all means, breathe. Turn in, turn out. Okay, and shout out to Catherine for that one. So you breathe in, and let the shoulders go. So more often than not, people are carrying lots of tension in the shoulders. So we've got upper back pain, lower back pain, shoulder pain, and that's because there's an imbalance. One side of your body will be overactive, the other side will be underactive. And it's two sides of a coin. When I was a child, I used to love making card houses. The muscle works like this, and there's 4 different types of movement in the muscles that help you work in an exercise routine or just work living life. Okay, so mentioned about the neutral spine, also talked about the shoulders, and forgive me because I now know what I was going to talk about. Okay, so lunges and keeping the knees safe and the ankles safe. So we're back talking about the 4 corners of the feet. So I'm just going to demonstrate just quickly what a good lunge looks like. As we go down into a lunge, 4 corners are planted, and as we go down, we sink into this area here. You can see I've got a tall upper body, I've got space between my ears, and I can already feel that my quads here, hamstrings are firing, assistance from the calves, and also the abdomen muscles are helping me get this lunge. Now the most important thing here, and this is why I want to talk about your knees, is we never allow the knee to roll over the toes. So as I look down, I should be able to see my big toe, I can do, and there's also angles here. Now, this is a big ask for someone that's just starting out. All I would suggest for you right now is to pay attention, making sure, catching my breath there, that you don't allow your knee to go over your toe. And by being that aware of how your body is working, your workout should be more effective and certainly a lot safer. What I'm going to talk about in the next video is a chair routine for those people with limited mobility or just getting into exercise. I feel that a lot of social media posts with the great, the good and the fantastic, some people are uber fit, isn't going to help those of you that have just been forced into this self-isolation or are just coming at it thinking the other side of COVID-19 that I really need to be healthier in my lifestyle. So that's it for this video. Stay tuned. Please subscribe, comment, share, like, and I wish you a peaceful day. Thank you very much.